Hello and welcome to another video on the Life After Brady channel. Today we're taking a look back at the Patriots Week 1 win over the Miami Dolphins. The Patriots went on to win 21-11. Let's take a first look at the key stats from the game. It was all about the Patriots rushing attack, really. Patriots ran the ball on 66% of offensive plays, a very high percentage. I'm sure we'll get a better number from someone else of how often they did that with Brady, but it couldn't have been many, if at all, in Newton's first game. They rushed 42 times for 217 yards, very impressive. They did move it. It's one thing to run the ball, old school, but you really have to move it, and they did that. The other thing to me, they did with a lot of guys. Newton led the way. We'll give his numbers in a second, but 6 guys had 20 or more carries, which is pretty impressive. Newton, the running backs, Burkhead, Michelle, J.J. Taylor, James White, and then Julian Edelman got in the mix too. So that was another key thing of it's going to be about stopping Newton, it looks like, moving forward, but you do want to be able to spread it out with the running backs, and they did that today. The other thing is you got to be efficient when it counts. 50% on third down will get the job done, and the key fourth down conversion from Newton in the second half is also key. In low-scoring games, you're going to have to be efficient when you need to be, and they were there. And then the defense, it's about interceptions. That's the reason that they're supposed to regress this year, is they're not supposed to be able to do the same turnover margin that they did last year, but they started off good today, 3 interceptions. They had 4 in their win against Miami last year, so they're going to have to keep that up. It's going to have to be timely turnovers, and that happened today. And then the red zone, going along with those third downs, they were efficient. 3 out of 4 in the red zone. The fourth one, there's both sides of it. There's Harry shouldn't be reaching for it, he's just going to control it, and there's also it's a dumb rule. It shouldn't be a fumble, it shouldn't be a turnover. But it is what it is. 3 out of 4. When they get down there, they have to score. With Brady last year, they such lacked for offensive weapons, and when you get down there, you have to score, and they did it for 3 touchdowns, which is good. The other thing to me, no Dolphins receiver with more than 50 yards. Last year, Devontae Parker tore him apart. It was the reason they lost that Week 17 game. He was out in the second half with a hamstring injury, so that was the good thing. The other thing to me, you were a little concerned, new linebackers, you lose Chung, who's going to be able to step in? You lose Duron Harmon, who's going to be able to step in and kind of fill that role, make sure that none of the other offensive weapons from Miami take advantage of that, and that didn't happen. With that being said, Miami obviously is not loaded with weapons, so we'll take that with a grain of salt as that it is. Next, let's look at the key plays from the game. 21-11, not the highest scoring game, not the most action. This was a lot of running, but let's take a look. So I got it here, quarter 1, 9:49, Newton's first pass of the game. They're at the 48-yard line. Edelman just drops it over the middle. Would have basically been at the Miami 35, and to me, you're at the Miami 35, you're rocking and rolling. You then are a first down away from basically being in field goal range. Instead, he drops it. Newton takes a sack on the next play, and you quickly punt, and that peters out that drive. Next up, I got Newton's touchdown, second quarter, 13-12 to go. As I said, just Patriots were so terrible in the red zone last year, so you like to see them get to a good start there. And Newton, obviously, his ability to run it was key there. And then the third quarter, also 10-14 to go, he ran it in. As CBS said, probably should have been called a short, but hey, the Patriots get the breaks, and that's why these are the key plays. You need the breaks to go your way, and the break did go their way. Then it did not go their way. The last minute of the third quarter is Harry fumbled out of bounds. Again, stupid rule, but hey, it is what it is. You got to live with it. And I got the Gilmore DPI next. It's 14-11. It's a close game. You just had Harry fumble. Let's close it out. Let's shut it down. And the Gilmore DPI gives the Dolphins a chance. They take that chance, go on to score there. So that's poor from them. And then the Newton run, 4th and 1. You got to be great when it matters. And 4th and 1, they give the ball to their guy, number 1 on the jersey, number 1 on the team right now. He gets that first down at the Miami 4, which is obviously key. Basically wins the game right there as Sony Michel punched it in the next play. And then J.C. Jackson closes out, 1:28 to go, 3rd and 6. Key interception in the red zone. You have to stop them in the red zone. You have to score in the red zone. They did a good job there. Next, we're going to take a look at the key players of this game, both offensive, defensive side of the ball. Obviously, it starts and ends with Newton's. 15 carries, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. 15 and 19 passing with 155 yards. The 15 carries is only the second time in his career he reached that total, so you're not going to see this a lot, but hey, it's week one. You got to get a W. They used it. I thought he was smart. I didn't really see any big hits. Kind of his second touchdown, he kind of took a big hit. There was one or two others where he was kind of trying to get the first down, but otherwise, I thought he got down well, stayed safe, and should be able to carry on. Mike Girardi did point out post game he was holding his hamstring a little bit. I don't think 15 carries is going to be his norm. I think he'll be back to 6 to 8 will be what you should expect moving forward. But hey, take the 15 while you can, take the W. Adrian Phillips led the defense with 9 tackles. New free agent signing with Patrick Chung out and all the linebackers out there. I need him to be good. I thought he looked small on defense personally, but hey, tackles are tackles. Second, Winovich, defensive line. He was second on the team with tackles with 6, 1 tackle for loss, 1 QB hit. I thought he played hard, played physical, slightly undersized, but he's going to play with ferocity, and that's what you want to see. Next, you get Harry. He's my guy I'm watching. 5 catches, 6 targets, 39 yards, and then, of course, that fumble. He's just such the X factor to me. If he's a very good player, this Patriots offense is going to be good. If he's okay, they're going to struggle, and he had one great drive, then he fumbles it. So it's kind of hit or miss there. We'll see what he does moving forward. And then Edelman, all reliable, 5 catches, 7 targets. Not a lot of him on the short routes. Kind of it was more intermediate or than out routes. They'll see how they use him moving forward. But I also think he's 34. He can't be getting 90 to 100 receptions this year. It's going to be an 80 reception year, hopefully. 5 obviously slightly below that. So we'll see what happens there. And then J.J. Taylor, I liked it. Small running back out of Arizona, undrafted free agent. Thought he played fast, played with some quickness. The Patriots offense just doesn't really have, James White. James White's not the best athlete in the world. So J.J. Taylor, I like that change of pace. I think that could be good for the Patriots moving forward. But speaking of James White, I just love the ability to add a little something to the run game. I thought with Brady, it was so stale. Basically 80% of the time White's in the game, they're going to pass it, and then when they're running it, it's a draw, essentially, is what it looked like. So I just loved with Newton, a little speed option look, outside zone look. I thought that was key. I think just being able to wrinkle in a little bit more with James White will really open up his passing game even more so. And the last 2 guys, Jake Bailey, 3 punts, but all of them are inside the 20. We'll get to this later, but when you're in a field possession, low-scoring game, you need your punter to be good, and he was. And then J.C. Jackson, best defender that I saw, 2 passes deflected, 1 INT. Gilmore was obviously very good, but 2 DPIs, not ideal. Here are the concerns. Obviously, it's week 1. You don't want to overreact too much. It's the Dolphins. There's not like they're the biggest test you're going to see all year, but Folk, the 45-yard missed field goal, just not pretty. We love to make fun of the Chicago Bears about how they have never addressed their kicking problem. Well, so haven't the New England Patriots. Ever since Steven Gostkowski was injured last year, they didn't solve that problem and still clearly haven't. So that's a problem, especially if you're going to play these low-scoring games. You need to be able to rely on your kicking game, and they can't at this point. The biggest concern to me is the passing game. It's the receivers. Harry and Edelman, the only 2 targeted, is what I have there for note 2. And then note 4, there's 19 passes, and none of them, to me, were intermediate or down the field. It was all just short, cute little passes, which you can attack teams, to me, horizontally. It's great, but at some point you need to extend the field, 15, 25 yards down the field, and the Patriots just don't have that right now. I don't know if Myers played. I didn't see him, and then I saw Bird out there a little bit, but not much from him. And then Sony Michel, the former first-round pick, all the guys, Dalvin Cook, Kamara get signed this week. Sony Michel is not in line for that. He's a nice player. Maybe just the Patriots are misusing him or limited using him to a degree, but it's basically they line him up, single back, maybe full back, and run straight downhill. 10 carries, 37 yards, just not much, and not much wiggle from him. And then themes, this is what I just thought of today, and then what you could see moving forward. Control. This was old school to me. Control the football, don't make mistakes, and they did that. Everything to me was in front of the Patriots D. Now Fitzpatrick sometimes takes shots, sometimes doesn't. He didn't today. Devontae Parker obviously being hurt the second half limited that, but they did a good job of everything staying in front of them, which is the key when you're trying to have this controlled game. You can't let the big shots going to make them earn it, and they absolutely did that there. And in those same games, you got to win the turnover battle. They did that. You got to win the possession battle. They did that with 35 minutes. And then only 3 penalties. You don't want to beat yourself. They didn't beat themselves. But all 3, on a little sour note, did go for Dolphins first downs. That's the problem. You can live with the false starts, the offsides, the dink and dunks, but 47 yards and all of them being first downs for the Dolphins is a problem. So that's what we thought of the game today. Please comment below what you thought, and if you enjoyed the video, please like it. If not already, please subscribe. Thank you.